Okay, we're back and we're talking NBA draft again. We're going to talk about the sleepers of the 2019 NBA draft this time. And by sleeper, I don't mean that this is some guy you've never heard of, or oh, there's some guy from Lithuania who's 7'7". Have you heard? No, I mean this is a guy. We're going to name a couple of guys that we think are going to be picked too low, probably. That have the potential to be, say a lottery pick, but are probably not going to be lottery picks, okay? And I'm going to start off with the guy here who I think is he's just built for the NBA. I think he fits on any team, and I think that his play just defies his size limitations. That's Carson Edwards from Purdue. And this guy, he's only about 6 feet tall, a little bit over, I think. But he's got a 6'4.5" wingspan. And you can see it when he gets in transition. He's throwing down on people. He can really get up. He creates space in a way that's going to translate perfectly. His jumper, he's shown he doesn't care. He's got range. He's got NBA range right now. And he is a smart player. He's a smart guy. He's got you can tell by his body, he's got an incredible work ethic. I think he did 13 or 14 bench reps at the combine. The guy's just a tank. He's got kind of an awkward, bounce to his game. But I think he's just cut out for the NBA. I think he's probably going to be picked in the 20s. And I think that we're going to look back on this. He might be picked, say, late 20s. He might even be a second rounder. I don't know if he'll slide that far, but I think we'll definitely look back at this draft someday and we'll say, yeah, he probably could have gone 10th.
Okay. So, from what you've seen, does he need the ball to be dominant?
Yeah, but I think that he does.
Okay.
He definitely is. Without the ball, he's not doing anything. But there is a specific role, and there's a specific need for that kind of guy. It's usually like a sixth man or a bench player who comes in who's a spark plug. We used to call this like the microwave. The old Pistons had a guy named Vinnie Johnson called the microwave, and he would just come in and he'd be cold, he'd take off his jacket and he'd just go ding, 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 and he'd knock in like 6 points, right? Carson Edwards is that kind of guy. Yeah, he needs the ball, but he's sort of like this cook that plays for Golden State. Sometimes he just comes in and cold off the bench and he just pops in a couple of threes. Instant offense, and I think you really can't go wrong with a solid kid like this.
Is he a liability defensively?
No, I think he's small, but he's tough. I think he's not going to be a plus defender. I think he's going to be a below average defender, but liability is too strong a word. Okay. I would say that his offense outweighs his defensive negatives. And I would say just because of his toughness and his physicality, I think he's just going to be an average defender despite his small frame. Small size, his short stature, I should say.
Okay. So, one of mine I think is going to be slept on is Bull. So, I slept on is a little bit, it's tough to call a person like Bull slept on. He's 7'2".
He's got a little bit of height.
Mm-hmm. But you got some hype around his name. Can he do it? Now, people with this injury and his injury problems have kind of just knocked him off their list and said, I don't want this guy because he's injury prone. And I get that 100%. Which means he's knocked down to possibly being out of the lottery now, which is, a couple months ago would have been unbelievable. People would have never took him out of the lottery.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think that with his build, if he's able to gain some muscle and, stays healthy, he should be able to be one of the best picks of this draft.
I think there are some question marks even about where he does end up. I remember Thon Maker surprising everyone a few years ago when the Bucks took him. I forget what number pick it was, but it was higher than expected. Yeah. And, has it worked out? Kind of a TBD. We don't really. Yeah. He's shown flashes. He's played in some playoff games. He's knocked down some threes. He's also disappeared for long stretches. Bull, he's one of those boom or bust type of picks. If he gets picked, let's say he gets picked 8th by the Hawks, would that surprise you?
I think it's a huge risk, but also a chance for a huge reward as well. It's one of those things that Do the Hawks need a center? Depends. It's just 8th pick. Let's just say 8th pick. Doesn't mean the Hawks.
Yeah.
8th pick.
Sure, they could use a center next to John Collins.
Yeah.
A defender, too.
Yeah. Tall defender. I think 8th. A little high. But I wouldn't mind taking him there.
Okay.
Anything above 8th, though, I mean, like 4th. Obviously, this after the 3rd pick, I've said it multiple times. After the 3rd pick, draft is kind of
it's
dead.
a crapshoot, you think?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
if he slips down, he's still there for your Celtics at 14. You like him?
I would not take him over Rui Hachimura or, depending on what else is left, obviously. I wouldn't take him over a couple of players, but I would like him on a team like this because we have the Celtics have shown lack in defense, like big man
rim
defense.
Protection.
Yeah, rim protection. Aaron Baines is good. He's coming off the bench though. We need kind of guy like Robert Williams. He doesn't play as much. He doesn't get the minutes.
Yeah.
I think he could still potentially be good, but he's kind of childish, kind of low IQ a little bit. So we need a guy coming in just able to protect the rim.
Sure. Okay. My next guy I'm going with here is my potential sleeper. Again, this is a guy you've heard of. It's not too far out, but Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So this is, I believe, he's cousin to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Also from, I think he's from Canada as well. You can kind of see it in his style of play and the way that he moves and just in the way that he looks. But here's a guy who's got a nice feel for the game. His style is really interesting. He's almost like ambidextrous, it looks like. He kind of zips passes with both hands. He kind of finishes with both hands. Good feel for the game. He's got an awkward looking shot. Even his free throws are very high arcing. But he makes them, so you're not going to complain as long as they're going in. But this is a guy who has good measurables. I think he's like 6'5", 6'4.5" with 6'9", something like that wingspan. He's not the absolute fastest guy, but neither was Shai. And Shai's a stud. I love his game. And so Nickeil Alexander-Walker from Virginia Tech is my next sleeper.
Okay. He's a guard, point guard?
Yep. He's probably gonna play. He's sort of a combo guard. He can score it a little bit, but he projects as a point guard in the league. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Which team do you think he fits perfectly on?
Well, see, I think his versatility means that he can kind of step in and play. Looking down the list, the Knicks have so many holes that you can just plug him in there.
Yeah.
And I'm going down the. It would be too high for him to be drafted at any of these slots, but if I'm going down the list and I'm saying which of these teams do I think could really benefit from having him? The Magic at 16 would make a lot of sense, I think, right? Mm-hmm. Who is their point guard right now?
Well, they have DJ Augustine.
DJ Augustine, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that the Magic at 16 would make a lot of sense.
Okay.
I think that you could bring him in as a backup or a complement to, Oladipo in Indiana. I think that he does seem like a very cerebral Spurs kind of selfless player. I could see Popovich going for an idea like that. Yeah. And even the Celtics at 20 are short on playmaking, so sure. I can see that.
Okay, so my final one is Tyler Hero.
Okay.
A lot of people think slept on. Again, these two are not really slept on, but I just thought of those guys, and I'm thinking...
You think they're going to be drafted at a slot that's too low for how good they are?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Tyler Hero, I think, is...
Where do we think Tyler Hero is getting drafted? I'm just looking at Tankathon right now. They think 21st to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
No way. Okay. I think a lot of teams have needs for specific shooting. And this kid, pure shooter. And he can finish up the rim. Not the best at it, but he can finish up the rim as well. So the threat of having him in the corner gives the defender, the opposing team's defender, always something to think about. You can now leave him open.
Floor spacer.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Mm-hmm. And a lot of teams lack that now in the NBA. But a lot of teams also don't. Like Golden State Warriors, they have enough as it is. I mean, their whole plan is shooting.
Unless everybody gets hurt.
Yeah.
all at the same time.
But the Celtics, we struggle with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, I think would I take him at the 14th pick with the Celtics? Not 14th. I would take him at 17th, 18th. I would say so.
Okay, so you think
Him
that,
at 21st.
Maybe
A little low, but
maybe he fits in again in Orlando at 16.
I would say so. Yeah.
I mean, but maybe I don't know if he fits next to Evan Fournier.
No.
They're kind of the same guy.
Yeah, same person. Not a.
Yeah.
You can't have two pure shooters.
Yeah.
On the same team. I would say.
Pacers have Bogdanovich.
Again, another.
Kind of the same
You
guy.
can pick up the rim though as well.
Okay, well, what if he slips to 20? Then maybe the Celtics like him at 20?
Yes, I'll take him at 20.
You'll take him at 20.
Yeah.
Okay. You heard it here first. Tyler Hero to the Celtics at number 20.
It's
And he should have been taken earlier because he's a sleeper.